magically whisk us away to a property that we should have highlighted last week.
You missed the boat
You
there.
missed the boat there, but it's 4473 Hudnall Road, Jacksonville, Florida, 32207. It's got a purchase price of $300,000. That's a new POTW record. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage home, leased out at $1,850 a month. And it's got a beautiful picture here, clearly a new construction home. It's got this estimated financing total conventional ROI of 12.11%. But what I really want to know is, GC, what do you like about this property?
I thought you would never ask. Well, I'm glad you did. The first thing I wanted to point out is why I chose this property. I think this is a great opportunity for us to look at this property and probably challenge your investor mindset a little bit here, right? Most people, when they're looking at an opportunity to make the investment, what's the first thing they look at, Pablo?
I would say the first thing they should look at is the IRR.
What should they look at? What do they look at?
The price?
The price, right? And let's assume that the price is within your budget, right? If the price is not within your budget, right, we should be looking at things that are within your budget. But let's assume that the price is within your budget. The first thing that most people look at is the price. And here we have an opportunity here with a $300,000 purchase price. That might be the highest one that we have focused on the show here,
It's
right?
Definitely a POTW record. Definitely have not had a $300,000.
Sure, it's not a JWB
POTW
record. But do you remember when we had Lewis Hudnall on the show last week? So if anybody didn't get the joke that we tried to make, Lewis Hudnall was our guest investor last week. This property, of course, is on Hudnall Road. There's why we missed it. But Lewis's property the property that we featured while Lewis was on the show had, I believe, an 11.1%, 11.2% return on investment.
That's right.
Right. Here we have a purchase price of $300,000, but our IRR, our return on investment, is actually 12.1%. So I'd love to hear from the audience here, from everybody who's here in the chat. What do you guys think about this? This is an example where it's a higher purchase price, but it's a better return on investment, right? I'll kind of tell you what I think, right? I think of myself as a financial engineer, and I realize that money always has to be moving. Money sitting dormant in my bank account is not a good thing, especially in inflationary times, right? If you think inflation really is 10% or 15%, or if you think it's 8.6%, like the most recent consumer price index, what that means is money sitting in your bank account is earning a negative 8.6% return on investment. I don't like negative returns on investment. So I know that I always need to have money moving. If I have funds that need to be moved, then I'm trying to earn the best return on my investment, taking into account risk, in order to produce the best returns on my investment. If I do that consistently for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I'm going to reach my financial goals quicker. So when I look at this property, I look at the opportunity for me to put into action, right? Call it somewhere around $100,000 of capital and earn a better return on investment, earn a 12% return on investment year over year. I get excited when I look at that, because my job here is to take the amount of money that I have and put it towards the best risk-adjusted return. I don't think everybody else feels that way, though. I would love to hear from the group, from the audience in the chat or in questions and answers, some of the questions that you may have here. It's a great opportunity for us to get kind of down and dirty into maybe what I think, or maybe what you think, and maybe understand the differences there. I'd love to hear what you think too.
I would like to just go into what this IRR, this ROI represents when you are investing in a rental income property. Talk to me about the profit centers of a rental income property.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go back to this concept of us being financial engineers. Like, I think that's really what we need to either be or we need to be becoming, right? We need to think about money as a tool that we need to put to work in the best risk-adjusted return capacity that we can find. You know, how hard is my money working for me, and what risk am I taking for it to work for that? And so when I look at the estimated conventional financing total return on investment here of 12%, and what you should take away from this is, if you invest in this asset, your money should earn 12% on itself year over year over year over year. And that's a really great return on investment, right? There aren't a whole lot of returns on investment that you can earn in that similar capacity that you don't have to take outside risk to get. Like, for example, in the stock market, consistently, you'll earn, over the long haul, you'll earn about 10% a year. That's what the data will show us. but you take a lot of risk during that time, right? You take a lot of risk of variability. Right now, the stock market, the S&P 500 is down a little over 20% for the year. So the risk that you take in the stock market, while you can still earn 10%, is that you have great variability. Sometimes it's way high, like the previous 2 years, it was way high. It was much higher than 10%. But then you also got to deal with what we're dealing with now, and that is inherent risk. So when I look at this, and with the way you all should look at this, is you're able to earn 12% here in a risk mitigated fashion in an asset class that is much more consistent and much less variable. And that is a great segue to go into the 5 profit centers.
Tell us about the 5 profit centers.
Yeah, so the 5 profit centers. So this is, again, goes right into risk mitigation. These 5 profit centers give me confidence to invest in this asset class, even though I don't 100% know if and how big of a recession we're going into, or what may be down the pike as far as the war in Ukraine, or what COVID challenges we may see in China. These 5 profit centers, I'm not only banking on this paying me one time, I'm banking on it paying me 5 ways. And that's why I love this asset class. That's why I left my corporate job 17 years ago and really scared the hell out of my family and my parents and said, I'm going all in into this asset class, not just to buy them, but to build a whole company based off of it. It's because of these 5 profit centers. Profit center number 1, net rental income, otherwise known as cash flow. When I talk about risk mitigation, this is the one that mitigates risk. This is the one where you've got this rental income coming in. You've got expenses that you know are going to happen, but the rental income is more than offsetting the rental expenses that happen on a monthly basis. And you're left with a little bit left over. And I don't get too, fired up about that amount left over. If that's $100 or $50 or $25, sure, I want it to be more than less. But the big thing for me is that I need it to pay for itself, right? I need it to pay for itself. So that's net rental income. All right, next we've got tax savings. So this asset class has these incredible tax advantages that you just don't get in other asset classes. You don't get it in the stock market, and you don't need to have some special criteria in order to get these tax advantages. There's a lot of tax advantages, but the one I like to focus on is called property depreciation. This doesn't mean that the value of your home is going down, market value. I'm just talking about depreciation from a tax perspective. And what the IRS allows you to do is to write off depreciation for your asset. Now, let's not get into too much of the accounting or the tax thing. Let me just keep it really simple here. At the end of the year, the money that you make generally gets taxed at your income tax bracket rate. The money that everybody loves write-offs because a write-off allows you to decrease that amount of taxes that you claim, right? It decreases the amount of dollars that you have to spend on the amount of money that you earn this year. Depreciation does that by a big, big margin, right? Sometimes it takes care of all the rental income that you earn, and then some. You have some left over to give to other assets that are similar. Sometimes it just takes care of a portion, but whatever it is, it's giving you the ability to keep more of your money that you earn and pay less in taxes today. What you do is you're actually deferring it till the future, to a point when you would sell. And there is always inherent in value paying taxes later than there is paying taxes today when it comes to your return on investment. That's why people love IRAs and 401ks. That's what you're doing. You're earning money today and you're paying the taxes on it later, and people love it because your assets continue to grow unhindered by Uncle Sam. And so that's tax savings.